move to this now. South Africa is marking a year since the formation of the Government of National Unity after last year's general elections dealt a blow for the ANC, losing its majority for the first time since 1994. Let's take a look back at the year that's been under the GNU. I am joined in studio by Professor Mazwe Majola, who's a governance expert at Wits Business School. Professor Majola, good to have you in studio with us this evening. I want to start with the big picture, Professor Majola. 1 year into the GNU experiment, what does the current cabinet lineup say about South Africa's approach, especially to inclusive governance and political compromise?
Oh, well, yes. 1 year or 12 months after a very challenging formation of national coalition government, and indeed with a very forced marriage, because obviously no one there who wanted to be, when each and every party, when they campaigned, no one ever wanted or ever predicted that they will be governing with another party. So they promised their constituency certain things that they will do, some commitments, some promises. But obviously, because we live in an unpredictable, uncertain and volatile environment, we'll never know what tomorrow holds. Credit to Professor, maybe next time we'll be a professor.
Who knows?
To President,
yes.
To President Ramaphosa and other political leaders really who formed this coalition. It was not easy.
Yeah.
Even now, it's still not easy. But the fact that they managed to find one another in spite of those differences, and they're still, together, as I'm saying, even though, well, you can see that it's not a perfect unity, but at least they're still standing.
It's not a perfect unity, but let's talk about the makeup of the executive. For instance, Leon Schreiber's turnaround of the Home Affairs Department, it has earned him some praise. Let's speak to this aspect. What are the key governance principles at play here? And do they suggest a replicable model for other underperforming departments here? Keep in mind, he's from the DA.
Yeah. So what has happened is that with this diversity, with these differences or different political parties taking up different cabinet positions, indeed, we have seen different levels of performances, of leadership styles, some competition. You've seen how certain ANC ministers perform well, others perform very badly, DA as well. You've seen others, particularly those one from DA, PA, with bringing that that enthusiasm,
some call it energy,
and vigor. When you obviously with the ANC's culture, they are laid back. We don't see much what is happening, and also from the DA side, they communicate, they market themselves, they promote themselves, they report what they are doing and what they've done, no matter how small it is. They report it. There are some cabinet ministers that you don't know exactly what they are doing, even after 12 months. Even some South Africans don't even know those ministers in certain departments because they're so quiet. You don't know who are they, what they are doing. On the other side, you see this culture, others who are really coming with this enthusiasm. It's easy for people to notice them and to see what is happening.
One name that would be on many people's lips is that of the Energy Minister, Jose Ramaphosa. I mean, he's been lauded for reducing load shedding. How significant is his role versus the structural improvements at Eskom that we are seeing? And does his leadership style then stand out from others in the GNU?
Oh, yes, that was a very good appointment there from the ANC when they picked up the Minister of Electricity. Remember, he was in the presidency's office, responsible running the infrastructure program there, and then they pulled him out. So it means the good thing that means the ANC knows their cadres, their strengths and weaknesses. So they knew exactly that we've got this problem, and then someone from amongst us who can solve this problem is so and so. I
And
so
Ramaphosa
wish
is an academic as well.
well, obviously, yeah, absolutely. He's a doctor. I so wish they were doing that even in other departments, because you wonder actually in other departments how on earth they appointed certain individuals. You know, there are certain departments when you see those ministers there, you can just see that it was kind of placating or pacifying the situation, nursing the fictionalism, just trying to balance things, that we've got how many from KZN, let's find someone from Limpopo, let's put others from Eastern Cape geographically, and then gender-wise, and then let's put youth, so you can see it was just, you know, playing some umlabalaba
there. You call it umrabaraba, but I want to speak international relations now. I mean, Ronald Lamula's role, especially in the ICJ genocide case, it did elevate South Africa's international profile, Prof. How should we weigh this diplomatic boldness against domestic performance when addressing cabinet ministers as well?
So it's very important that when you appoint a cabinet minister, then you find someone at least with qualifications and with a background in that department. It makes things worse for that person. For instance, as you are saying that Lamula, before then he was the Minister of Justice, and you know, and there he did very well when he was there. And that is where the ICJ took place, and then you could see him when he rose into the occasion. At that time, the Minister of International Relations was Dr. The lady who left.
Naledi Pandor.
Naledi Pandor, thank you so much. Naledi Pandor, who did so well as well. So it was a baptism of fire for Lamula when he took over the international relations, because now we've got the G20 coming to South Africa to handle that, the US issues, continuing with the Israel or Middle East, and also the Russia and Ukraine. So that was the baptism of fire. But it seems like he has risen to the occasion.
Let's look at the country's number one, President Cyril Ramaphosa. I mean, he's often described as a consensus builder, but he's often criticized for indecision as well. In your view, is this a strength or liability in holding together this GNU that we speak of today?
Look, so leadership is situational, right? You know, when you bring your leadership styles, it will it will depend on certain environments and certain situations and certain individuals that we are dealing with. That's why earlier on I credited him for putting together the GNU, because that was his strength there in terms of negotiating, trying to convince people. Maybe if it was someone else, that was going to be a disaster. So he played a pivotal role in doing that. And also we've seen him with the Trump issue, that really needed someone who's calm, collected like him to handle that situation. But in other areas, he does found wanting, especially in terms of decisiveness, to make the quick decisions, and also bold and courageous, or courage. He has this proclivity of not firing people. It's like it's very scared, you know.
Almost playing it safe sometimes.
Yeah, now you cannot be a leader if you can't fire people. Not that you must, but if there is a need to fire people, you've got to. He will always try to playing that blah 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 talking about, so that now there's an issue with Thembi Simelane. From this department, from now he must be moved and take him Kubai to that department. You know, so instead of dealing with someone, but we'll try to handle it.
Sounds like musical chairs. Really.
Yes. So yes, musical chairs. So indeed, there are times where he does better. There are times where he's found wanting. But the most important thing for him is that he takes time to make decisions. He lacks committees, task teams, and all those things. Even a decision that it just need to be taken by him immediately. But he would like to find people, let's get this thing investigated, and then he would sit with the report for many, many times. Let's take, for instance, the issue of the new GNU cabinet ministers. The fact that even today, we don't know their performance agreements. They have not signed their performance agreement. So you can see that the leadership style of Ramaphosa, that he takes things easy. It's like the whole world, revolves around him. He takes things easy. He lacks that sense of agency and that speed. It's so wrong that 12 months later, cabinet ministers have not signed the performance agreements, so that people, they know that what are they doing, and people, they can hold them accountable based on those performance agreements.
Prof, before we let you go, let's talk education as well. Sivuya Kwahube has introduced bold reforms in basic education. How important is youthful leadership in driving innovation, and does her tenure signal a generational shift, if you will, in cabinet politics?
No, it's very important. That energy we spoke about, energy. For instance, in education, if we were to juxtapose basic education and higher education, how many people will know who's the Minister of Basic Education, who is the Minister of Higher Education? Why? Because of that culture that DA brought into GNU, that culture of energy, of enthusiasm, of positivity, and then individualistic approach. Whereas in ANC, that culture of collectivist culture, where it's we have not done this, we will do this, we are waiting for
Decisions of the collective.
Exactly, yes. But now, unfortunately, they seem to be outmaneuvered and outpaced by the new ministers from other political parties, DA, PA, and others. ANC still have very good ministers there, but unfortunately, as I'm saying that in many a time you don't know what they're doing. Others, there are certain departments that you don't even know what they're doing. Right? Social development, I don't know how many people who know who's the minister in that department. Small business enterprises, and then others. Then we'll find those who are with energy, but to find that it's about talking, it's not about performance, like your water and sanitation, Perma Jodina, who's very talking, you know,
Prof,
but unfortunately, you don't know what is. So that competition, as long as it's healthy, it's good, because obviously they are in this coalition, which requires that cooperative competition.
Professor Majola, thank you so much for your time, for helping us unpack the state of cabinet performance 1 year into the government of national unity. Now, as South Africa continues navigating this new era of coalition governance, expert analysis like his helps the public understand, or better understand, both the wins but also the warning signs of this GNU.